and gentlemen, I'm privileged. Today I'm surrounded by three of the four horsemen and their spiritual guidance, the administrative director of Tully Blanchard Enterprises, my colleague James J. Dillon, national heavyweight champion Tully Blanchard, world television champion Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson. Gentlemen, all I can say is welcome.
Mr. Cornette, you're very quick-witted today. There's nobody that's got a sharper tongue than you do, but today, for me personally, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, Magnum TA, and David Crockett in an earlier interview set the mood for me, which is a very, very dead serious mood. We're just a few days away from the Great American Bash. And a lot of money is involved, a lot of prestige, a lot of things on the line. And they talked about living in the promised land, waving the American flag. That's all fine and well, but you see, living in America doesn't guarantee you success. It only guarantees you the opportunity. And then from that point, you have to take your ability and get out and get it done. Now, American Dream Dusty Rhodes, you crippled Ole Anderson and put him out for almost 6 months. You have not yet been fully paid for what you did. But you are vulnerable, and you will go down, and it could happen before the American Bash is over with. Now, the Road Warriors, awesome. They said you couldn't beat them. They said you couldn't hurt them. And right here in this very studio, the people that you see surrounding me right now, minus the world heavyweight champion Ric Flair, who's here in spirit and constantly on our minds, was out here, and all of the Road Warriors, not one of them, not two of them, but all three of them were laid out right here in this studio, and we stepped over them on the way out. And then we turned around to prove a point and picked up the slap. That's what I'm getting to, the slap. The slap heard around the world, Hawk. And Tuesday, Philadelphia, Veterans Stadium, the slap was nothing because Ric Flair is going to finish and prove that it wasn't a fluke.
You know, Jim Cornette, the Horseman is like a family. Rock said it many times, and when he came back, the family was back complete. And you know, Rock, since you've been gone, Dusty Rhodes, he sends a lot of people, Garvins, Magnums, Road Warriors, all around to protect himself, so nothing happens to him. But you know, we have proved that the Horsemen are mightier than all of the rest. The Road Warriors, Garvin, all of them have all been left laying and carried out of any building by the Horsemen. Ole, Arn, Flair, and Tully. That's it. That's it. That says it all. Dusty Rhodes, you are vulnerable. Cage matches, you get the Road Warriors, you get Baby Doll, you get anybody you want. The four horsemen will take you down. And Dusty Rhodes, 86 is your last year. Right, Rock?
Ole?
Everybody's already said it, but Rhodes, one last message for you. I made the prediction 86 is going to be the end. I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. Four horsemen are here together, and the one thing that we're going to do, whether it's got to be me and Tully and Arn or Rick or JJ, I don't care if it's 1 or 2, 3, 4, all 5 of us. I made the prediction it's going to stick. Rhodes, you're done at 86.
Arn?
I'm going to be dead serious, and I'm directing this right to you, Rhodes, Garvin, Wahoo, Rock and Roll Express, Magnum, whoever you may be. You look at these trophies, this one, you look at Flair's. All these are our trophies. This is not what the four horsemen are all about. To be a horseman, you can have one of these too, but it's inbred, it's guts, it's a determination to be the very best you can be, and not caring one bit about public opinion. You think about that. You take public opinion, put it above your own aspirations, you're going to be a failure. We do what we want to do because we want to do it. Get in here, Rob.
The Great American Bash, we're coming.
Place to be Nation Wrestling. Welcome to episode number 52 of NWA Crock and Roll. I am your host, Sean Kidd, and we are back to discuss the last part of June '86. So in 2 weeks from now, we get finally to the Great American Bash in July of '86. So before I begin, let me introduce my co-host for this evening. Up first, Dr. G, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to another great. I mean, June is hot right now, so let's keep it rolling. And this is a key time going into the bash. So I think you could tell this is where everything's focused at this time.
Yep, everything really hits the fan here to get, well, the matches hit the fan, but the lead into it definitely hits the fan tonight. Scott Shiflett, how are you?
I am doing great, Sean. I am looking forward to more Horseman promos since our boy Ole is back.
Yeah, it is a lot of, actually predominantly Horsemen tonight with a few things mixed in for sure. And last but not least, he is the host of Highway to the Impact Zone and one of my co-hosts over on YouTube Roulette when I decide to be on, and also on the 7 Months of Danger over on NoSo. Logan Crosland, how are you tonight?
I'm doing good. Sean, you must like me or something because you keep asking me to be on pods, and I'm on pretty much every pod I do with you. So I think you must like me pretty good.
Well, I mean, I like your opinions. That doesn't mean I like you, but I do like your opinions. No, I mean, you're all right. I mean, you and Schiff are kind of like, I like both of you guys. So
yeah, you're all right too.
Yeah, well, I try to be. I'm not always a good person, but I really try. But anyway, we're going to jump right into it. So we are going to look at start with June 21st. Before that, here is our champion roll call. So nothing's changed since last episode. Our world champions Ric Flair, U.S. champion Magnum TA, tag team champions Midnight Express. The sixth man are the Warriors and Dusty Rhodes. Mid-Atlantic is Black Bart. Your national champion is Tully Blanchard. Your junior heavyweight champion is Denny Brown, and your TV champion is Arn Anderson. So with that, we're going to go to June 21st World Championship Wrestling, and we are with the Horsemen. And Tully is pumped up that everyone is back. Ole says they are ready for the bash. And Flair says basically all the faces are having a hard time finding the TV studio when the Horsemen are in the same building. He wonders why Dusty is in Charlotte today when he knew damn well there was a TV champion in Atlanta, and he's in sending videos. Flair calls out the Road Warriors, referring to Hawk as a big bird, which was really, really lame, and they all laughed at how funny it was. I thought that was really absolutely ridiculous. So just not funny at all. And then Flair says if a woman from age 18 to 28 in the world is not in a training bra and wants to find out what's causing all this, and he woos. Then we go to a quick pre-tape from Dusty. He's in an empty studio. He says him and Ole have to end this. It's going to be Ole Swan's song. And just some great lines in here. He says, I reserved the stratosphere for me and you. And the other three horsemen need to find another planet to hang on while Dusty and Ole settle this thing. Then he says this line about living on the end of a lightning bolt that crashes through. And Dusty says he rides on the end and rode the saddle for 7 years. And Dusty was on his good shit. So really, really weird shit in this promo. But yeah, so basically it's Ole again, lame big bird joke, and then Dusty's, I don't know if it was cocaine driven, alcohol driven, but some really weird shit here. Dr. G, I'll go to you first. What'd you think of all this?
It was I don't know, I didn't enjoy it as much. I don't know.
No, I didn't either. That's why I put it on here, because it was these polar opposite of this shit we talked about on the last episode.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, it seemed like they were drunk or something. To be honest with you, I was kind of trying to figure out what the heck where they were going with everything, and I don't know. It wasn't one of my favorites. Let's put it that way. It wasn't horrendous, but it just wasn't one. I just felt like it was all over the place.
I mean, I don't understand why you didn't enjoy the Big Bird joke. I mean, that was so funny.
I was like, was that supposed to be funny?
Yeah, I was brutal. Logan, what did you think of this? Did you feel the same way?
Yeah, the Big Bird stuff was pretty brutal, and just kind of basing it off the stuff we talked about in the last episode, it kind of what was said before all that was basically the same stuff they've been saying. They're going to take out Dusty. They're going to take all the belts. They're going to take out anybody that's in their way. So it was kind of a rehash of kind of a lot of stuff that they said in the last episode. And I like Dusty's promo, but it did he might have been on some hippie lettuce before he got on that promo for sure. He was definitely kind of spaced out there.
Yeah, Schiff, I assume you feel the same way on this.
Were those guys wearing sunglasses during that promo?
Well, I'm sure.
That means they were probably coked out of their minds doing this promo, not drunk. That's why I'm just assuming they thought the Big Bird thing was hilarious. I will say, Flair basically saying all the baby faces are pussies for not showing up was quite a thing, because they made fun of Dusty for doing a taped promo. Ole with a great "Damn I Am Good" shirt, which it's just like, this man is kicking it out of the park. Then Flair shouting out, "Any woman from 18 to 28, come find the Horseman." Flair's being Flair.
In a training brawl. So that was a direct shot at the Rock and Roll Express.
Yes.
Not
so
in
like
a training brawl. Yeah.
So even though like he called Hawk Big Bird, he still somehow salvaged his promo in my eyes. Just from, I mean, their eyes were probably those irises were probably so like the size of saucers, but because they were coked to the gills. But it was just amazing. But this is like, and what they're wearing when they put their hands in the middle, this is the promo shot you always see of the Horseman.
Yeah.
Sean, it's close to what the picture we took in Nashville.
Well, they're a little older in Nashville, but yeah.
Well, I know what you mean, but like how they all have their hands in the middle, that's the one WWE loves to show when they were doing the Flair stuff for the Hall of Fame for the Horseman.
Absolutely, and again, based on what we saw in the last episode, these set of promos, I did enjoy it. Like I like it when Dusty gets I reserved the stratosphere for me and you line, but then it kind of went south and didn't know what he was talking about, living on a lightning bolt. I mean, he's definitely a lightning bolt, but it's going up his nose, I think, in this promo.
Yeah. And sorry, are we talking about the Dusty promo now?
You can talk about both of them. That's why I did them back to back.
Yeah, and Dusty saying, like, he kept saying Liberty, and I was like, this is why Cody named his daughter Liberty, because he heard his dad talking about it so much. And he did call out Ole, so it looks like we're set for some Ole and Dusty matches for the Great American Bash Tour, because I know that Flair Dusty challenges Flair at the Great American Bash because Flair is busy, as they said. Like they're doing like 28 shows, and he's like defending on 22 or 23 of them. So the real world's champion, Ric Flair, by the way.
You saw it in Florida last time, and you're gonna see him tonight in another match in another territory, which came out of the blue for us, but. I'm gonna have to do some research before our next episode in July to really see if we ever really get that Ole match with Dusty, because I know there's multi-man tags and things like that, but not really sure if we got an actual Dusty Ole one-on-one. So I'll definitely research that before our next episode, and we'll talk about that. All right, we go to Jim Cornette, and he's holding up a moo-moo that he says is baby dolls, and he goes to a tape he calls the greatest thing ever. Cornette is in the ring with one of the Mulkeys, says he's going to show the rednecks his skills. Baby doll runs into the ring and attacks, and she hits the Ole with a belly-to-belly. Big Bubba walks over and tosses her across the ring, which brings out Dusty in a wood chair. Dusty breaks it over Bubba's head, and not until Bubba does a nose sell, but as a bonus, which totally blew Cornette's mind when he talked about this angle years later on his pod. Despite the impact, Bubba's hat and sunglasses don't even come off. And Bubba takes off his jacket and tie, and suddenly it looks like Dusty's about to get his ass kicked. Magnum comes out to the ring with a shovel and hands one to Dusty. They threaten Bubba with the shovel, and Bubba doesn't even budge until Cornette straight up tells him to get out of the ring. Bubba follows orders and leaves only because he was told to. And the segment I thought was really cool ends with a great shot of Dusty with like this really great holy shit, who is this guy expression on his face. It really felt like this is what, like, it made Bubba star instantaneously. The hat not falling off, the sunglasses, Dusty's face. Like, I feel like this was a good moment for Bubba. Schiff, what did you think?
I agree, and I'm glad you specified that was a muumuu. I just thought that was a nightgown. I was like, the hell is this supposed to be? But Cornette did have a great line where he said, you could probably give this to your wife, Shivani.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ. Baby Doll doing the belly-to-belly to one of the Mulkeys was pretty good, because she's not the most athletic it looks. I mean, I got a funny story about her training video shortly. But
we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
But Dusty hitting Big Bubba with the chair, I mean, it made Big Bubba look like a star, like you said. And the only way they got him out of the ring was Cornette saying, come on, let's go. And then Magnum and Dusty somehow having shovels. Where were they getting done burying Sam Houston because he had got with Baby Doll? But it made him look like a hoss right then and there. Like, not like a main eventer, but like at least an upper mid-car, in my opinion. And Cornette's line where he said, Baby Doll, you're ugly and no one wants to be around you.
Logan, what'd you think of this?
Yeah, I thought Bubba came off like a big deal here. Just completely no sell in the chair, none of his stuff falling off, and just the fact that it took two guys with shovels to basically get him to run away. The belly to belly from Baby Doll was, I can't even call it a belly to belly. It was more like a belly to stumble. She kind of fell over when she did that. Poor Mulkey brother get murdered by that awful move. And the shove to her was pretty weak, but I know she had to sell it to kind of get the rest of the angle over, but yeah, good stuff, and kind of made Bubba look like a badass.
All right, Dr. G.
I forgot this was kind of like where Big Bubba kind of made his name was this angle, because I mean, man, Dusty put that chair right out, and he didn't even flinch.
Not a word. Nope, not a movement.
I mean, whether that chair was gimmicked or not, you're still gonna blink. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
and it, what was weird about it? It almost looked like the baby faces looked weak in this situation, where they had to use a chair and then come in with shovels. So it really, really made Big Bubba look like, he was, he was never going to be beat. Yep. And, Baby Doll, I mean, I kind of remember this a little bit. Yeah, she was not the, obviously she was more of a valet. She wasn't really the greatest. I mean, poor Mulkey had to take one for the team there, but overall, I think, making Big Bubba look like a star here. And I think Dusty really wanted to, to do something with Big Bubba. So I think, because I think he was booking at the time. So I think they definitely, if he wrote this, he did a good job with it. And like I said, that chair shot was amazing to me.
Well, and the rest is history. I mean, we know where he goes. Bubba goes on to probably one of the, pretty legendary run he has from a career. And it's really cool to kind of see the start of his career here as we start. And this seems to be like the first really big Bubba moment. So pretty cool to actually go back and see this in retrospect based on his career going as a big boss man, and really, really cool stuff. And he only gets better as time goes on. So, all right. So then we go later into the night on this episode of World Championship Wrestling. Ric Flair is wrestling a jobber named Tony Zane. They start to lock up when all of a sudden the Road Warriors music fires up, and Road Warrior Hawk gets in the ring demanding a match right now. And these guys are actually scheduled, I believe, at the first Bash show in Philadelphia for the world title. Flair's game and goes straight to a chokehold. Hawk no sells and just destroys the shit out of Flair. Arn and Tully try to make the save, but Hawk presses against Flair over the top and onto them. Only sneaks up from behind and attacks Paul Ellering and Animal Ride, but with JJ, it gets on to a 3-on-5 battle, and even the Road Warriors can't handle that. Animal takes a spike pile driver on the concrete, and Hawk takes maybe the greatest gourd buster in the history, as the height and the delay and drop is extremely awesome. And then they slap Hawk around. Later on, Hawk shakes off the spike pile driver and promises he'll be ready in Philly. I really love this segment. By taking out the Warriors, the Horsemen have cemented themselves as some pretty bad MFers, and I thought this was awesome. And that gourd buster for me, like just the sheer height he got on it, where his head was like bent and his whole body went up, and then they just slammed him down. That was, and the delay, it was just like a drop delay on the double one. It was great. So, Dr. G, what did you think of this attack on the Road Warriors? You didn't see stuff like this back in the day.
No. I mean, I remember even as a kid, like, wow. Because the Road Warriors, very rarely did you see them in a position where they looked weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were always the ones beating the hell out of everybody else. So this was where you knew, you know what, the Horsemen are for real. Like, this is not just some pretty boy, faction, that they're here, to fight anyone. So, very well done. And I tell you, I remember just being in shock back then, like, because the Road Warriors to me were like unbeatable. That's how I felt when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too. I remember this segment, and I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe they just did this to the Road Warriors. Logan, what'd you think of this?
Yeah, you don't see the Road Warriors get their asses kicked very often, so this was a pretty awesome attack. The pile driver on the floor was disgusting as he went straight on concrete. I think he gets Animal gets hit with a knee as he's kind of entering the ring, and he falls like shoulder first onto the concrete. I thought that was pretty brutal too. He almost immediately comes out and just gets roughed up immediately. But just them getting attacked was something you don't really see, and really getting their asses handed to them the whole time. It was pretty shocking to see. And Hawk says he's going to come one-on-one with Flair in Philly, and he's looking forward to kicking his ass, and then he's going to get some revenge on the Horsemen eventually. I also thought Randy Anderson at this point looked like Screech from Saved by the Bell with a mustache, so I noticed that during this little segment. But good stuff.
Yeah, and I know actually when we get to July, we will actually, I think this is the first match we actually watch when we get to July, so we'll definitely see Hawk versus Flair there. Schiff, I know you, like me, is a big fan of the Gourd Buster. What did you think of this segment?
I will say it gave Hawk coming out and actually holding his own with Flair, actually makes Hawk look like a dangerous and potential person who can unseat Flair for the title. But then we saw Horseman greatness, which, the Horsemen were already at an elite level, but they're somehow getting even higher up with just these ass whoopings they've given out the past couple of weeks. And this one, like you guys said, the Road Warriors were no pretty boys. These were badasses that came out to Iron Man and everything. But they left all three of the Road Warriors lane. They even put their hands on Paul Ellering, which didn't really happen a lot, but him and Road Warrior Animal went down hard, and the Gourd Buster was just, I thought he landed on his neck.
I looked like his neck was torqued in the air while the rest of his body, there's just something about the angle, and it was just a freaking badass looking move.
And I just loved how the Horsemen just swarmed on Hawk. It was an A+ angle in my opinion.
Yeah. So definitely a good setup for the first Bash match on July 1st for Flair, one of his first title defenses at the Bash. So really well done. All right, so we are going now to jump to June 26th, where I have no idea how I found this match, but it is in Hawaii, and it is Ric Flair hitting another territory, and he's defending the NWA World Title against Samu. And yes, this is the same Samu from the Head Shrinkers, and the same Samu from the Samoan SWAT team that you see in '89 WCW and 1990 WCW. So really weird here. And I've actually seen Samu in some older stuff in the mid 80s, which he's pretty good then too. So he's a pretty good babyface here in Hawaii. So really cool to see Flair in Hawaii. So anyway, Flair hitting the territories again. So on the last episode he hit Florida. This one's in Hawaii. They shake hands and then they go at it. A lot of feeling out, arm and mat work between the two. Flair hits a nice elbow to the face on Samu off the ropes, a few knees to the head. Then kind of, for me, a little bit boring arm work. In between, they have wrestlers cutting promos who I don't care about because I'll never talk about them ever again. Flair dominates the back half of the match. We get a boring sleeper by Samu. Flair escapes. They trade chops, and Samu goes up top. Will say that I thought the announcers brought some really good energy, and they were fired up. Samu gets caught in a figure four, and the crowd goes absolutely crazy. Samu gets the babyface comeback where several near pin falls. Flair throws Samu into the ref, who goes down, and then Samu gets several pins while the ref is down. Flair goes for a pile driver, and Samu dumps him over the top rope, and the ref sees it as he recovers, so it's an over-the-top DQ. The last few minutes was better, and the announcing energy and crowd, what I thought was really, really good. But for me, it was too many rest holds, and it was a 20-minute long match. I still think it's a pretty cool find, so I went 2.25 stars. Logan, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought the match was perfectly fine. The crowd was super into it, like you said, and the commentators definitely brought their end. But I honestly thought the commercials and the terrible interview interludes were the most entertaining part of the match.
Yeah.
We got Hawaiian Barry Horowitz and Hawaiian Rick the Model Martel in there for sure. I always hate the top rope DQ BS. I'll never understand why it was a thing ever. I'd probably give it 2.25. Sounds good, like you said. But the match was perfectly fine. It definitely had its good parts, but it was a little too long, probably.
Yep, I agree. I agree with you on everything you said. Schiff, what'd you think?
Okay, I think I'm going to be the high man for this. I
can never figure you out with matches ever.
Wow.
I can't. Go ahead.
You called me Enigma before, and
you are Enigma. I don't get it, but go ahead.
I enjoyed Samu working an armbar at first, and he was working a head scissors, and then Flair actually had him in a heel hook The commercials were amazing, and also the people interviewing. Someone's name was Junior Maivia. I want to find out who that is because I have who the fuck is Junior Maivia.
I know he's related. I mean, Hawaii at the time is run by the Rock's
The Rock's,
mom.
yeah, the Rock's, yeah, his grandma. I thought.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe it is a grandma. It is.
Yeah, it's a grandma.
Yeah, it's a grandma. Sorry about that.
And I love like how Samu had a chance, but he missed with a drop click, and then like Flair was in control, and then Samu had in control, and I love Flair like fighting for the ropes, and like you can't see, and he like just throws his leg over. I know I mentioned this with all the other Flair matches, but it's just something I love. And then we have Samu getting a visual pin not once but twice. I did not like the over the top rope DQ. I actually went 2 3/4, so it wasn't too much higher than you guys, but I really enjoyed the match.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. That's not too bad.
Yeah, I wasn't going for or anything.
Yeah, that's not over. Yeah, that's not like your 4-star Wahoo versus Magnum cage match.
That match was awesome.
All right, moving on. Dr. G, what you think of this match?
I went 2 1/4 like you guys did. I mean, again, the beginning part of the match was a little slow, but the announcers did for I don't know who they were, but they actually did a pretty decent job.
They need to shuffle those guys down to Championship Wrestling for Florida to get some energy behind that show.
Maybe, yeah, they definitely were into the match. So, but it's amazing though. Flair, no matter where he goes, he leaves the local hero looking good, even if they don't win the championship belt. And I agree with you, Logan. I hate that whole over the top rope thing. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't. Why? But I mean, I guess it's another way to make somebody look strong, but not take the belt off of someone, I guess.
Well, especially if a wrestler's going for a move and you bump him out of it, you shouldn't DQ him for escaping the move. He's going for a pile driver and he lifts up and dumps him out. You shouldn't DQ him for that because he escaped the move. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's even dumber on a reversal. Like I guess I would get if you were just actively chucking him out of the ring just to hurt him and make him land on concrete and stuff. Like maybe I get that. It's still stupid that way, but
on a reversal, it's even dumber. You're right.
Yeah.
All right, so not a great match. I guess 2 1/4 to 275 makes sense, but kind of a cool find. I didn't even know existed. So, and to see Samu, one of the head shrinkers, take on Flair for the NWA title in '86 was something. But anyway, we're gonna jump right into June 28th. We are going to a syndicated show. We're going to NWA Pro, and the reason why I picked this one is we don't get a lot of this is for me the first match we really get to truly see the Andersons back as a team, and I always pop for them big as a team. And the reason why I picked this match is, one, it's got Sam Houston, and Sam Houston always puts on the goods. And then it also had our very first appearance in a very, very long time of our junior heavyweight champion, Denny Brown, who still is very unimpressive and doing the jobs and not defending his title. But anyway, the crowd is super hot. As always, they pop for Sam Houston, and I continue to say I do not understand why the crowd loves Sam Houston so much. His offense is great. Anderson's bumping like a madman for him. Arn hits an amazing shoulder block that flips Sam inside out. Arn finally tosses Sam out of the ring, and the Andersons do what they do best, and then they get Brown in. They pick Brown to pieces. Brown gets some side of life, but match ends with a great Ole top knee to the shoulder and a shoulder submission. Guys, listen, for me, this is only 4 minutes, but for me, it's like a 2-star squash because I get the best of the Andersons. You get Sam Houston doing his shit. And then you get the Andersons just freaking picking apart the body and just freaking tearing the shoulder apart. I love this, but I'm going 2 stars for a squash. Logan, what'd you think?
Yeah, I'd definitely go 2 stars on it as well. I really enjoyed this squash. The ridiculous lariat to open it where Houston does the inside-out sell I thought was awesome.
Dude, that was an amazing spot, man. That was awesome.
It really was great. And then Arn takes a hip toss from Sam Houston a little bit later, and Arn sells it like masterclass stuff. He freaks out and acts like it was the worst thing that could have possibly happened to him. I thought the Andersons were absolutely vicious on their offense throughout this. And despite the, armbar finish not being the sexiest finish, the diving knee to set it up was
savage.
Awesome.
Savage. That was savage.
Yeah, I'd definitely go 2 stars along with it.
Yeah, so Schiff, we always talk about Sam Houston and his reaction. And Son of a bitch freaking puts on some pretty decent matches too. So what'd you think of this?
Yeah, I only went 2 because, like you said, it was just a squash, but like they loved him, and I will say Ole was beating the piss out of Brown, which was very nice because we haven't seen Denny Brown, so that's cool. Arn getting the tag while being in a sunset flip, like Arn loves doing that spot after seeing his matches here and in 7 Months of Danger, and I still love it every time I see it. And I love the knee to the arm off the top, and Ole just puts him in an arm lock and it's over. So it was pretty great.
Yep. Good old fashioned Andersons. Just what I like. Dr. G, what'd you think?
I agree. I just love watching the Andersons, and it's amazing how over Sam Houston is, though. Right? I mean, the crowd goes crazy for him.
Yeah, well, we don't have much Sam Houston left because when we get to July, we're going to have to talk about Baby Doll Houston Gate. So not much left of Sam Houston on this show left. So, but yeah, I mean, really, really cool squash. So it was a cool little find. It was only 4 minutes, but again,
I go 2 stars on it myself just because I just love watching the Andersons, and their teamwork is just amazing.
I could almost watch every Anderson like jobber match just because of this, but I mean, this was just good.
They make jobber matches entertaining.
They do. And they also make submission spots entertaining too, the way they pick body parts apart. It's not boring. It's just really, really cool to watch. Like when you hear people say limb work, these guys are master of limb work. They really are. So, all right. So we're going to jump into the final watches that we had for tonight. So we're going to World Championship Wrestling, also on June 28th. The only thing I will mention from this show that we did not go deep on, that we will not talk about, there's a Bash update with Magnum TA and Dusty where they talked to David Crockett. Dusty says America is about being free and his kids running free, and Bash is a statement of freedom. And then he said he's going to come all over America and the country. then we go to a Willie poem that he spouts off in a video about the Promised Lands. Logan, anything you would like to say about this little snippet here?
I don't think I intentionally kept this on, but I think something distracted me, and I just happened to hear this in the background. And him saying he's coming all over America was quite the line. So yeah, just more Dusty craziness. Yeah.
Dr. G, what did you say, Dr. G?
I said I had to come back to listen to that one. I thought things.
There might be a reason why I mentioned it, because they do these random things where they say stuff like this to like rib people. And so if you remember the really first big one where Magnum it was going to come all over. It's just they do this randomly to like rib each other. It's unbelievable. Dr. G, anything else to add to that?
Not much more to add to that. I just thought, again, I had to go back and listen because I was like, did he just say that?
He sure did. Coming free all over. Anyway, stop Shiflin. Shiflin, anything to add?
I think for my podcasting and professional career, I should just not say anything.
I mean, we're just covering a basic promo.
Now you decide to hold back.
I don't think there's much more you could say. I mean, it is what it is, right? What else can you say on it? Anyway, it's way to sell the batch. All right, so we move into Cornette. He opens up the show. He's going in on Baby Doll, and he pins in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It'll be America's team of Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA taking on a Midnight Express. He then introduces the Chance, and we are underway. And again, it's Sam Houston again, but it's Midnight Express versus Sam Houston and George South. Cornette is on commentary as Houston does his Houston stuff, and he out-wrestles the Express as Cornette says Sam never learns his lesson against this team, which is technically true. And he's glutton for punishment as Tony says he really knows how to wrestle the Midnight Express. South even gets some pretty good offense as Bobby sells great for both. Then we get some great heel tag work from the Midnight Express on Houston, including a double shoulder. Again, the same spot that Arn did, except it's a double one that flips Houston inside out again. This must be a move that he recently learned because he's popping it out left and right here. Houston takes a really good shit kicking as Cornette talks trash on him, and Baby Doll at the same time while praising his team. I wonder if Cornette knew what was going on in the background so he could shit on them both at the same time. Houston finally tags South after a missed Condry elbow. South gets some good shine until he's nailed with a brutal backbreaker. There's a power slam and a rocket launcher for 3. I actually enjoyed this quite a bit. I thought it was a great little sprint showcase here for the Midnight Express. I went 2.25 stars, and I'll let you talk about that after I go after this next one. Cornette says he has had it with Baby Doll and says when the bash is over, she will be gone. Cornette says Bubba is invincible, and then he replays the chair shot from the last episode. And again, like we talked about, I love Bubba just standing there the whole time while Cornette's talking, being silent. Tony brings up Baby Doll is the perfect 10 workout. And we go to a training video of Baby Doll working out with really bad music. Baby Doll was getting it, including leg splits and weights. I made a very inappropriate Sam Houston joke, wondering if she ragdoll him after prepping for her bash matches. I love the stills of her faces when she looks like she's in pain. And the end was very hokey as she walks out of the gym and turns with a smile on her face and does a fist pump. That was some awful shit. The match I loved. The Baby Doll workout was something to behold because it was really awful. Logan, I will go to you first. What'd you think of the match and then the Baby Doll workout?
Oh man, I thought the match was a good showcase for the Midnight Express. They gave just enough offense to kind of make the match not as much of a squash as the last match was, but they controlled it for the most part and looked good in what they did. I'd probably go 2 on it. I thought it was pretty good, and it was a good showcase for the team. Baby Doll's awkward training montage is what I'll call it. It was pretty terrible. Very, very cheesy. She looked like she was either giving birth or taking a shit for most of the little still pictures. So, very, very, very weird and awkward. So, I would not go out of my way to look at that one. I'll put it that way.
I mean, it's a moment in time. For me, it's almost as good as Magnum running on the beach to his mom. If you guys remember that one, that's an all-time.
Oh my God.
Too. Yeah. Dr. G, what did you think of the match and the Baby Doll workout?
I went 2.25 on it. I agree with Logan. A nice showcase for Midnight Express. Again, not too much, not like too much of a squash, kind of give a little offense, but, show how they're, a great team in the way that their teamwork. I mean, I think the Midnight Express are great. I still think the Andersons are a little better, but similar, where they cut the ring in half and they take control and, just a great team. And for a squash match, again, they make squash matches entertaining, and they always do. The Baby Doll workout, that's awful. I mean, I don't think I think she just did the few reps just for the video, and then, probably went showed her sweating, probably went into the shower and wet her hair. There was no way she was even doing half that workout, and it was just awful. The music was awful. Just not one of their best produced pieces of work, that's for sure.
I can't believe she's working very hard to train for her match against Cornette, and you're all shitting on her. Shit, what'd you think?
Well, I'm going to go to the Midnight Express match. Cornette has some great lines. He says, Baby Doll's so fat, when she's on a street corner, cops say to back it up. To break it up, sorry. He calls Sam Houston the human broomstick.
Yep.
And I just and we see how, talk about the Horsemen being ferocious. We see how ferocious Midnight Express is. Bobby sticks his finger in Sam's eye, like when he has him in the ropes, which I thought was pretty sick. And then, we get a nice backbreaker from Condrey to George South, and we get the rocket launcher, which I think this was the debut of the rocket launcher, because Tony says, what's that? And Cornette's like, it's a rocket launcher, dummy. And the Midnight Express win. I went 2.25 as well. And then Cornette saying Baby Doll's a dead duck going into the Great American Bash. And we're all wrestling fans here. We've had that awkward moment where, I'm sure with me and Logan, because we grew up around the Attitude Era and like the Ruthless Aggression era, which you can hear about on the Ruthless Aggression pod on the No-So Connection, where the divas would be doing something, and that's the time when your mom would walk in or something. With this Baby Doll workout thing, I'm watching it Sunday. My wife walks in, and the first words out of my mouth was, I swear it's not a porn.
The hilarious thing is my wife was in the room the whole time, but she somehow never looked at the TV because I was like, I hope she doesn't turn around and see what's going on.
I guess my biggest issue with that statement is if that's what you're watching for porn shift, you have bigger issues.
I like to go retro every once in a while, Sean.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What is awful?
But I even have here, so I took one note and I said, looks like a start to a porno with her working out and everything.
It was it was about as 80s as you could get, that video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like, good for her. She had like 90 pounds up in the bar, which is probably more than I can do. So
Probably more than
good.
Sam Houston weighs.
Yeah, definitely. So she's probably lifting him up. Anyways, um, but it was just one of those things where it's like, oh my God, I can't believe they showed this, and like Dr. G said, they were looping it because it was like the same like 5 seconds that they stretched into like a 2-minute clip. It was amazing.
So worst video, baby doll workout, or Magnum TA running the beach to his mom. I think Magnum TA running to the beach to his mom was more entertaining in my opinion.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. He beat up Ivan just for talking about his mom, so maybe you should watch your mouth, Sean.
Oh, well,
Maybe you should kiss Magnum's ass.
I'm going to leave an appropriate comment out on that one because you know where I'd go with that.
I know where you'd go on that.
All right, so we're going to move on. So to close out this episode of World Championship Wrestling, we have the Horseman with Jim Cornette. JJ says Cornette is very witty and sharp-tongued, which I think we've commented on quite a bit tonight. It says we are a few days away from the bash and a lot on the line. JJ shits on the Promised Land poem that was said in the earlier Dusty Great American Bash video we talked about, and says it guarantees you an opportunity. The Promised Land guarantees an opportunity, but not success, which was, I thought, a great line. So we are guaranteed an opportunity, but it's not guarantee you success. So I really did like that line. Says Dusty will go down. He puts over the Horseman kicking the Road Warrior's ass, and then talks about Sloppy Hawk. And then Tuesday, which will be the first bash in Philly, he will prove that it's no fluke against Hawk. Tully puts over they are family and mightier than any of the faces. Oli says 86 is the end, and I am not kidding, the Rhodes, and it will stick. Arn says to be a horseman isn't about the titles. It's about being the very best. They do what they want, and they basically say, fuck public opinion. And, of course, as they leave, they are yelling the Great American Bash, and they are coming. Dr. G, what did you think of this short little promo from the Horseman to close us out that sends us right into the first bash that week?
Oh, typical Horseman. I mean, what do you guys? I mean, at this time with the Horseman, I mean, like the first promo we heard, we were like, where were they going with it? Now this one, I thought, sometimes I think some of their promos could be too long, and I think this one was perfect.
Yeah, it was short, sweet, to the point, and it sold the first bash in Philly. I thought it was good.
Yeah, that's what you do. Sometimes, I mean, the Horsemen, sometimes I could go for a 10-minute promo from them. It's fine, but sometimes I think when they just get in that mode. But again, these guys, like you said, the schedule that they were keeping, who knew what they were doing? They probably just came from the bar, for some of the promos. You know what I'm saying? So, but this one, they definitely, short, succinct, get to the point, get to what you're trying to sell, and get out and do the best. I think this one was much better.
Yeah, it was much better than the one we saw on the 21st where they were all either on drugs or drunk or tired or whatever. I thought this was nice, short, and sweet to the point. Logan, what'd you think of this?
Yeah, I thought this was great stuff by Arn and Oli, as we've seen throughout these multiple episodes that we've watched through the last 2 episodes of this show. But I thought JJ really cut a hell of a promo, hyping up the Great American Bash Tour, how it starts coming up the next week, and just everything that's going to go on throughout that. So I thought JJ really cut a good one here, and like I said, Arn and Oli were great as they have been.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I thought JJ really shined in this promo. Like I said, that line he talks about, hey, the Promised Land might guarantee you an opportunity, but not success. I thought that was awesome. Schiff, what do you think of this?
Yeah, it was a good promo, but I actually like this less than I did the promo you guys all disliked, because it seemed JJ lost his train of thought.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't catch that. Okay.
Yeah, like you could see him and you see oh shit, we're live, pal. And he finally comes to it. I mean, he kind of looked like I do sometimes when I forget a word. That's exactly what it looked like. But they did say how they took out the Road Warriors. I like that. And Tully said Rock is taking out Dusty. He says Rock instead of Oli.
Yep,
so
the Rock Oli Anderson. Yep.
Yep. And he also says that 86 is Dusty's last year. So I'm gonna be expecting them to take Dusty out. So I'm gonna be needing those receipts.
Yeah, I think you'll be waiting a while, but we'll see how it plays out. Anyway, so that closes us out for our watch for June in terms of the NWA. So on our next episode, obviously, we'll jump right into the Bash and talk about the Bash and the matches and all the happenings going on there. But before we close out this episode, we're going to do this episode's territory spotlight. And I thought it would be good to revisit an oldie but goodie because we all, and Logan, for us, we've watched some Sheep Herders versus Fantastic matches during the Crockett Cup and some of these on our territory spotlight. We have one here from Houston, and this is from June 27th, 1986. And we love to revisit this feud because normally these two teams go at it. It's really, really good. And for Schiff and Dr. G, you remember that one at the one at the Crockett Cup, Meltzer gave it 4 stars. And
It was amazing.
Okay, well, see, I think I disagreed because I didn't think it was. I did not find it to be a 4-star match by any stretch of the imagination.
He gives it 5 stars, actually.
Oh well, I think I gave it like 2.5, 3 tops. I did not enjoy. I don't even remember. Dr. G, what did you give that one? Do you remember?
I don't know. I don't think I gave it 4, but I definitely gave it over 3 stars. I know that.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I know
I gave it 4.5. So.
Yeah, of course you did. All right, so we're going to jump right into this. So the Sheep Herders are out as always, and they're out with Jack Victory. Quite the old women smooching on the Fantastics as they come to the ring.
Oh, God.
They were. The old women were actually kissing Fantastic. So the Sheep Herders attack before the announcing is over and the bell starts, and it is a New Zealand boot camp match for the UWF tag team titles. The announcers tell all the women to clear the aisles and go back to their seats. People do not listen as the teams brawl outside with chair shots, rope chokes, and blood. Fulton is a bloody mess, and Tommy is after Butch jams an Abdullah-like foreign object into his head. All involved are like bloody messes at the 5-minute mark. These guys just brawl nonstop, kicking the shit out of each other. Sheep Herders dominate most of the match. Fulton fights back with a great nightstick thing where he's like beating the shit out of people, but he can't make that full comeback. Fantastics finally make a comeback at the 10-minute mark, much to the crowd's delight. Fulton does some savage jabs with what I think is a fork to both Sheep Herders. And he is definitely getting a shine tonight. It's definitely the Fulton show tonight. Jack goes up top. Fulton goes up top while Tommy is being held by Butch and hits Butch as Tommy sucks. He basically, with the flagpole, then the Fantastics and double team Butch with Fulton beating the actual hell out of him with a fork. Ref stops the match as the Fantastics just beats the piss out of Butch. It's a weird ending as I assume the ref stopped the match. This was 15 minutes of just chaos, blood, and hate. And I might catch shit for this, guys. I loved it. I think it was way better than the Crockett Cup match. I would have given this 4 stars for the brawl. I think this is a better match. The ending wasn't that great, but Sheep Herders couldn't continue. So, Schiff, I'll go to you first.
Before I answer, Sean, do you think I enjoyed this match?
Well, it's hard for me to tell because I can't judge. If you went listen, I can't imagine in my head you would have gone as high as you did on the other Sheep Herders match with them and not like this one. I just can't fathom that in my head.
I love this match. This was awesome.
Thank God.
This was awesome. I loved the fans not getting the fuck out of the way because they had to say it 4 times that please go back to your seats, please go back to your seats, please go back to your seats. I loved that the Fantastics are walking into the ring, the Sheep Herders jump them, start beating the piss out of them, and it looks like a fight, and we are on. And it's like the Sheep Herders dominate most of this match, and I love how they're choking the Fantastics with a rope. The Sheep Herders try to grab a chair from the first row. The fans grab the chair so they can't use it. It was amazing. In ECW, they would be like, here, take this. But in UWF, they're like, no, you're not beating up my blowjob baby face. I just loved it. And I loved how the Fantastics, like, you thought they were pretty boys, but no, they fought back. And like you said, we had, the Crimson Mask with everyone. And it was just awesome. Like, I love Tommy Rogers' dropkick, which is what I talked about before. And he's able to hit one of those things of beauty. I think it might be one of the best dropkicks, in all honesty.
He's very well known.
He's known for it. Yep.
Yeah, he's known for that.
Yeah, and the win happened. This match was all over the place, and I love how it was just like a flash ending. And I went 4.25.
Right. Better than the Crockett Cup, right?
I think so. Yes.
It's not a think. It is. It really is. At least for me, it is. Dr. G, what did you think?
I went 4 on it. It was a good old fashioned brawl. I love these type of matches, and the Fantastics and the Sheepherders are known for some of these matches. This is not the only ones they've
I think
had.
they have like a barbed wire match. Like there's a famous barbed wire one they do too.
Yeah, I think I remember in PWI it being covered in PW, if I'm not mistaken. But this was just it's just true good brutality, and everybody thought, oh, the Fantastics are some pretty boy. No, they could go they could hang with the Sheepherders. So I loved it. I enjoyed it. I was glad you put this on here. Actually, it was probably one. It was definitely by far the best match that we saw in June so far.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen. Anytime I can get the Fantastics and the Sheepherders on a show, I'm going to do it. So trust me, anytime I can. I'm not sure. I don't think that's the last one we have of them. I think we have another one coming up soon, but I don't think it's against the Sheepherders. But I can't remember. But yeah, really, really good match here. Logan, what'd you think? I assumed you liked it too.
No, yeah, I really liked it as well as you guys have. I haven't seen that other match. I will eventually see it on Starflation as we go through all the 5-star Dave Meltzer matches.
Oh, that's right. Also, you have to watch that for Starflation. So yeah, I'm really curious to see what you think about it.
Yeah,
only here on the Place to Be Nation feed.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly. I think it's a little further down in our watch, so it'll be a while before we watch it. I think we have a list kind of mapped out, and I think it's kind of one of the later matches on the list. So I'm looking forward to watching it as well, because I have heard differing opinions like yours, Sean. So, but I really love this one. I'm so glad the Sheepherders attacked and ended the kissing and hugging fest that was going on before the match. Yeah. Oh God, I hated it. So I'm glad they attacked a little bit to break that up after a little bit. But I also love that the announcers continued announcing even though the opening brawl was happening. He was like introducing the teams while they were just beating the shit out of each other. And one of them was probably already bleeding by the time that the announcements ended. And of course they said tell the ladies to get back to their seats or whatever. So I thought the ref in this match looked like Bobby Eaton's dad. He looked just like Bobby Eaton to me for some reason. This is my kind of match, just utter chaos throughout, just all around the ring, all kind of different weapons and stuff going on. And I've never really seen this version of Luke and Butch, so it was a really welcome sight to kind of see them beat the shit out of the Fantastics here. But I would go 4 stars as well, like you guys.
Yeah, so one of the better matches we've seen in a long time. And Logan, if you want to see this more sheep, I mean, I know it's not your deal, but Mid-South, UWF, that's where the Sheepherders are known for. Like they are more well known for this than they typically were for being the Bushwhackers. And that's what was so weird is when they came into the WWF and they were baby faces and they were licking people. It's like, what the fuck did they do to the Sheepherders? That's really what it was like when it happened. I was like stunned. I'm like, holy shit, this is.
And they pulled it off.
Well, they did pull it off and switch it around, but could you imagine like the WWF version of the Sheepherders having a match like this? Not in a million years.
No,
not in a million years. So, but anyway, that closes us out for the month of June. So I am excited. In 2 weeks, Logan, thank you for 2 weeks. We'll be going to the Bash. So I'm excited that we're finally there. Logan, thanks for joining us for the month of June. So hopefully we might probably have you back at some point again, especially if Calum continues to really be upset about Drew McIntyre and the Queen. You don't know how long something like that takes to recover from. So we always call him the best. But Logan, before we go, anything you would like to plug?
Just Highway to the Impact Zone. That's a TNA pod that me and you, Sean, are sometimes on that with me. But we will have at this point just have gotten past Genesis, heading towards the next pay-per-view. So just check out those episodes coming up and just the whole back catalog. Great show with a lot of great people doing that. And just check out all the feeds, the No-So feed, the Pop feed, and the wrestling feed. Just all good stuff. And everybody's producing some really good content. So check everything out.
All right. Schiff?
Yeah, just mentioned it earlier on this pod, 7 Months of Danger on the No-So feed, YouTube Roulette here, which I do all my podcasts with Sean. That's why you haven't really heard my voice as much. Be found on Twitter at Scott_Schifflet. And thanks for coming on, Logan.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. And Dr. G?
Logan, yep, thanks from me too for coming on. I enjoyed having you for this great month of June. You could follow me on Twitter at Dr. GPTB, and every Saturday morning my podcast along with the Podfather himself, Scott Criscullo, with covering the new NWA. The NWA Saturday special drops at 9 a.m. every Saturday here on the PTB Wrestling Network.
All right. You can find me on Twitter at NWA Crock and Roll. You can find us, obviously, this pod, and then over on the North-South feed at 7 Months of Danger, where we're going chronologically through the Dangerous Alliance era and the 7 months that they were a team. So that's a good one. And then Logan mentioned the other ones as well. So real quick, Dr. G, final thoughts on this watch and the month of June overall.
Well, I'll tell you, yeah, like you said, we're working towards the Great American Bash. Good stuff. I have to be honest with you, though. You put that little gem in there for the month, the Sheepherders and the Fantastics. So I really enjoyed that. So I appreciate that. But I definitely, I'm looking forward to July and seeing what's in store.
All right, Logan, final thoughts on month of June?
I'm like I said on the previous episode, I'm super excited for y'all to be able to get to watch the July stuff. I imagine it's going to be just as great as it was hyped up to be in these promos, and it will deliver as much as I think it, as much as people hyped it up in these promos that we watched on these 2 episodes. I think it'll be a good time in this next little month that y'all are about to do.
All right, and Schiff, final thoughts.
I think we're starting to hit like the peak of Crockett, so it's going to be interesting to see where they go here. I know they have to pivot because of some real world things, but I think this is the peak, because that's what everyone loves to talk about, is the best of 7 and the Great American Bash tour. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that and what happens after that.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I definitely think we're hitting the peak. Bash 86. Most people, when you think Great American Bash 86, that's really where they think peak Crockett and all the things they've laid. Listen, even with the Jimmy Valiant and the shaved head stuff, the Wahoo stuff with the strap matches, but like everything else, if you really think Ron Garvin and Tully Blanchard for the national title, like they have really done a great job setting up every nook and cranny of every feud they possibly can do. And the fact that they told all these stories simply and get people excited for it, I do think when you say that the summer of 86 is really where Crockett hits its high point, or at least its well-known high point, where it goes from here. I think that's what most people talk about. So I look forward to talking about that. So for Logan, for Schiff, and for Dr. G, most of us will be back here in 2 weeks where we start talking about the Great American Bash. So we will see you all then. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Got that rubber band. so much rhythm, grace, and debonair for one man? No. And then he had the nerve to twiddle his left toe, but to his knee, got the feeling in his head, y'all. Oh, come on, baby. Won't you cry yourself, dear? Never heard a sound. Oh, he's my man, and he likes to jam. The bang starts to jam, moving up and down across the land. Got a wiggle all in his waist. Everything about him seems out of place, but moving, just moving, just a rubber band man, just moving, just a rubber band.